launching the Big 10 Big 12 Challenge. Time to get this weekend in Waco underway as the 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers take on the Horned Frogs of TCU. Welcome courtside here inside the Farrell Center, everybody at Lincoln Rose, along with Katie Sager-Smith, the former All-American. And Katie, if you go outside in Waco, you know it's not December, but inside the gym for the next 2 days, it's going to feel like a regional.
Absolutely. A lot of excitement here in Waco as we're in the 4th and final year of the Big 10 Big 12 Challenge. And so people have been highlighting these dates on the calendar and so excited for this big of matchups to come to the Farrell Center.
For Wisconsin, they are fresh off of being a #1 seed last year, all the way to national semifinals, along the way being led by last year's National Player of the Year, Sarah Franklin.
Franklin, the outside hitter, playing absolutely out of her mind already. 5 kills per set on the season, hitting .229, and certainly going to be a player that TCU has to key on this afternoon.
Of course, a rich history up there in Madison, Wisconsin. Meanwhile, Fort Worth, they are just getting started, a bright future ahead. That includes this year's preseason Big 12 Player of the Year for Melanie Parra. That has been unheard of in past years up in Fort Worth.
Yeah, Parra, certainly a player that the Big 12 has been keying on for years. She started at Texas and then transferred to TCU, but is playing her best in her last season so far. Big 12 preseason player of the year, 4.25 kills per set, and just that well-rounded outside hitter for Jason Williams.
So again, a couple of coaches leading these two teams who are accustomed to taking their teams to the NCAA postseason. Time to get underway again later on this evening here in Waco. It'll be Baylor and Minnesota in a top 25 matchup. Minnesota fresh off of beating #1 Texas up in Milwaukee on Labor Day. A diving effort on that back row for the Badgers from Orgeol to keep this point alive. Horned Frogs on their 3rd effort, unable to get it back over. It's Wisconsin who strikes first. And oh, by the way, you look at Wisconsin at the bottom of your screen, 0 wins, 3 losses. I can confidently tell you they are one of the greatest 0-3 teams in the history of this sport. It's a Wisconsin team that's fresh off of losing in 4 sets to 6th-ranked Louisville, #1 Texas, and 5th-ranked Stanford. I comfortably say that knowing that the folks in Madison know that the wins are going to start adding up pretty quickly, pretty soon. It might even start today.
Yeah, love, even with the challenge, the way that Sheffield has set up his roster. He knows they plan to be playing deep into the postseason, and so wanted to see that early on in non-conference. Has certainly not been easy for the Badgers.
We've already seen a lot of early non-conference powerhouse matchups. The Badgers, the Gophers were up there with the Cardinal and the Longhorns in Milwaukee this past weekend. Of course, Wisconsin was part of that first serve weekend with a little appetizer against Louisville. All of this is supposed to make you better before conference play rolls around and hopefully improve your strength of schedule for RPI going into the NCAA tournament with seeding. Here is Alice Volpe, of course, her last name familiar in the state of Texas in college volleyball. Her mom, 2 decades at the helm of the Rice volleyball program.
Yeah.
As the Horned Frogs will win the serve, it'll stay with Volpe, the freshman. And out of the Houston area from Cypress, Texas, the high school All-American. And her mom, Jenny Volpe, who head coach for the Horned Frogs, Jason Williams, has long before Alice was born. Wisconsin able to strike back and pull things even to a piece.
You talk about Alice Volpe, and I always think when a college coach's child, whatever school they play for, it speaks so highly of that coach because you know through that recruiting process that the parent is involved and they know the X's and O's of that program, and so certainly speaks highly of Jason Williams.
Melanie Parra elevates to the penthouse and fires one home. Again, Parra started her career in Austin down the road. Pride of Mexico, her 2nd and final year in TCU, looking to make it count.
Parra pulled up to the Mexican national team at age 13. Lincoln, when I was 13, I was considering braces. Like, she was literally on the national team.
How many Instagram followers did you have when you were 13?
I'm not even sure Instagram was a thing.
You're probably right about that. Again, a good look at one of the returning All-Americans, Devin Robinson, the 5th year out of Iowa. She had 15 kills last year against TCU. Again, these are teams that are familiar with one another from this Big 10 Big 12 Challenge in its 4th year. Parra, they'll dial it up from the back row. Gibson able to get it over the first time, just stepped on the foot of Bramshriver, but is okay, avoids rolling an ankle and finds some opening In the meat of that TCU defense, Cece Crawford.
Another look at that, just such a good fast tempo shoot set to the middle, and Crawford puts it away.
Well, we know Crawford for her blocking, but explosive up front with some offense there. See the violation on TCU, and of course what we know for the most part we're not going to be talking about are double hits anymore.
Right, I know, such a game changer.
Serve from Goochtucken. Now the Istanbul Turkey. Badgers unable to string points together for head coach Kelly Sheffield. If you walk around Madison, Wisconsin, there's a lot of rocks that are upside down. This man leaves no stones unturned when trying to find the constant edge in matches over the years. No doubt they'll probably have some NIL deals for those fancy mattresses soon. That includes looking into sleeping habits, all sorts of little things that can add up for that extra win or two. They're going to go back row to take a touch, did not.
Point, Wisconsin.
Badgers up by 2 here early on against the Horned Frogs out of the Big 12.
30, number 10, Devin Ryan.
TCU last year exiting the NCAA tournament in the second round in Fayetteville against Arkansas. Para. Oh, and a nice stab by the libero. Goochtucken, and it leads to the point for the Badgers. Well, Jason Williams, you'll forgive him if he walks into the wrong locker room when he's in Waco. Longtime employee, in fact, even married into the Baylor Bear family. Married one of the all-time great with his wife, Corey. Of course, he raised a Baylor Bear who then transferred Callie her final year to play for him a couple years ago at TCU. Ever since he arrived, they've immediately become an NCAA season team. That first year, an incredible turnaround.
Yeah, Jason Williams just did not miss a beat. I feel like a lot of the times a coach, they have some time to adjust, right? They have some time to figure out, okay, I want to get my recruits in, maybe year 3, maybe year 4, we really start to make a splash, but not the case for Coach Jason Williams in his time at TCU.
So Badgers with the win of the joust initially and come through with the block afterwards.
Wow.
And this ball makes it over inside the pin from Orgel. And cannot maximize the great effort from Yulia Orgel, senior captain. As TCU will get the point. Orgel was wearing the libero top last year, and even though you can have more players wearing the top this year, she's opting to blend in with her teammates. Melanie Parra, last year third-team All-American. She's already been named Big 12 Player of the Week coming out of this last week against Nebraska. Those 14 kills, 10 digs against last year's national runner-up. Back set to the right pin, and the Badgers back on the board as they stretch that lead to 4. Biggest lead for Wisconsin. You see Cece Crawford again, the pride of Lansing, Kansas. Really the best she's looked in her career. And you will see her going from pin to pin. An ace for the first time today. Orgel.
Point, Wisconsin.
Timeout TCU as Wisconsin has stretched their lead early on to 5. It is Wisconsin and TCU today. The Badgers tomorrow will see the host Baylor Bears, and we will soak it all in with big smiles on our face here in the Big 10 Big 12 Challenge.
At Toyota's national sales event.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's. Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's. Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's. Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quarter moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
This is Formula One!
I'm on the next level now. It's so on.
I'll never get used to it.
The first step to building wealth is being careful who you listen to when it comes to your finances. I'm not a CFO, and this is not a penthouse. I'm not even human.
When it comes to financial decisions, start with the nerds.
Called by TCU. Serve continues here for Yulia Orgel. Last year in the volley 4, she had the top academic resume, best GPA of all of the participants still competing. That is the Elite 90 Award winner. There are 90 different NCAA championships throughout the year. They all recognize that top academic performer. Sometimes it's somebody on the bench that doesn't get to see any minutes, but that is certainly not the case with Orgel. And the run continues for Wisconsin. Jason Williams hoping TCU could come out of that timeout and put a halt to this run. Largest lead now belongs to number 6. Badgers up by 6. As they have their National Player of the Year right there anchored in the middle of the net. Second ever Badger National Player of the Year.
TCU.
Becca Kelly, the redshirt freshman, willing to be a vocal leader, transfer from Oregon. Marking out, let's go, after picking up the point. Went to Rockwall High School up in the Dallas area, so she's one of a handful of players who transferred out of Eugene this year that we'll actually see this weekend. Most of whom opting to return closer to home, and an ace as TCU's been able to string a couple points together. This is Cecily Bramschreiber, whose sister played here at Baylor. Chanel, but is from the Dallas area. Lucas is, of course, Lovejoy High School is the powerhouse there in the Lucas area. Regular state champions. A big swing from the back row from Gibson. Was able to dig it out. A little roll off the palm of Franklin. That one does get down despite the effort of Lola Schumacher.
Another look at that. Sylvester, just great job seeing the court, having that vision that the block was up, but that she had that open hole right in the middle of the court for that soft tip.
We have seen Sarah Sylvester improve every single year that she suits up for TCU. And Wisconsin does not allow them to string them together. Wisconsin was hitting about 450 going into that timeout called by TCU. Have cooled off to 438 here early on against a team that surely will be in the top 25 at some point this year. I mean, they were at 83% on side out going into that last timeout. Right down the heart, the big swing. Again, Badgers often can boast one of the biggest front lines in the nation. That includes Anna Smrek at 6'9", who's on the bench right now. Opportunity at that net, and again, a trademark block from the Badgers up front. Sliding in, Crawford keeps it alive, but the point will fall for TCU.
Now Wisconsin with a lot of strength and power in the middle this year, just really kind of Sheffield keying on making sure his serve receive and defense is clean enough to keep those middles involved.
Here's Lily Nicholson. They love her scrappiness.
Point, Wisconsin.
Her service will come to an end on the violation.
Now serving number 24, Charlie Herringer.
So again, for Wisconsin, 8 returns from the team that was a #1 seed last year, made it to the national semifinal. They have 4 All-Americans returning this year, including Devin Robinson, who just rotated back on. And well set up there, but Wisconsin able to handle it. On the right side, Robinson. And the response from Gibson. And sometimes better be lucky than good. As Carter Booth went airborne at 6'7", is not going to miss those very often, but has something to laugh about.
Certainly not the set she was expecting, but like you said, her arm was in the right place at the right time.
when you're an All-American, again, a few more things go your way for the Denver, Colorado native, who was 4th in the nation last year in blocks. She and her teammate Sarah Franklin switched from the red and white to the red, white, and blue, with the United States down the Dominican Republic this past off season. So even more experience in some big matches internationally, part of the USA system. Of course, the senior national team was over in Paris collecting silver. Entertaining couple of weeks in the Olympics this year. Well, back set from the right side. Becca Kelly sends it over. Franklin at the pin, finds wide open spaces on the back row. The kill from Franklin.
4 kills already this afternoon for Sarah Franklin. We talked about that 5 kill per set stat that she's been running with, and we can see exactly how she gets to that so quickly.
So I want to point out Franklin is still coming back from an ankle injury this summer. We should all be so lucky to be able to touch the ceiling with a bum ankle.
Oh my goodness.
This is after she had battled blood clots before the 2023 campaign. Back to Franklin, your National Player of the Year, trying to drive one down the line, but off the mark with the air.
Point, TCU.
Horned Frogs will take it. They're in double digits, back within 5.
Now serving TCU 0.
TCU last year went 8-10 in the Big 12, but how good is the Big 12? That was enough to get them into the NCAA postseason. A big part of that is scheduling matches like this.
Yeah, it is. You know, the strength of your conference just has so much impact on the committee's vision at the end of the season. So we're seeing a lot more of that with teams like the Big 12, like the Big 10 that are in those tough conferences that, you know, every night's such a battle that they have to create a resume even before conference starts.
Franklin with a driving serve to Para. Para with the responses blocked up front. One more to get over. TCU up to the challenge. Back to that right side, back to Devin Gibson. Horned Frogs return to sender. One more bite at the apple for Robinson. And the final timeout of the opening set by TCU. Wisconsin has stretched the lead to 7. The Badgers badgering the Horned Frogs at the net. And there are All-Americans spread all over that court for Wisconsin. They swept TCU last year up in Minnesota, in Minneapolis at the Big 10, Big 12 Challenge. They beat Baylor in that weekend as well in 4 sets. But this is a Wisconsin team. Look, I talked about Kelly Sheffield, how flexible he is, how he constantly is willing to evolve and do what's best for the team. Some coaches, they'll insist, we're either a 5-1 or a 6-2. This year they are back to 1 setter after going with 2 last year.
Yeah, I think that, to your point, does speak to his adaptability. And sometimes it really depends what hitters you have on the court, who has the best chemistry together. And so always kind of interesting when you switch from that 6-2 to that 5-1 and back and forth. But certainly creates opportunities for other players to have more impact on the match.
Their main question was who would emerge as leaders this year. Meanwhile, year 3 for Jason Williams, the longtime associate head coach here in Waco on Ryan McGuire's squad. He was a part of that staff that led Baylor to the 2019 #1 overall seed as the #1 team in the nation. They would make it to their first ever national semifinal, led by Player of the Year, Yassiana Presley.
Jason Williams started his career in volleyball working kind of through the club circuit in the DFW area, so has so many relationships with different clubs and different coaches there, and kind of got that opportunity to coach at Baylor. But whatever level Jason Williams has coached at, he finds a way to win. And so just excited to see what next steps this TCU program continues to take under his leadership.
He himself, graduate of Austin College, played football there. As the Horned Frogs will take the first point coming out of the timeout, back within 6, but need to put a run together here.
Now serving number 16, Jalen Clark.
And he returns 5 starters from that NCAA tournament team last year. 8 newcomers, 4 of them freshmen. As we see Jalen Clark to serve, the California kid in her sophomore year. And there'll be a short-lived service. Easy termination there from Carter Booth. She will rotate off. We see Guchtek and the libero come back on. School J last year, a couple of aces against TCU in that victory for Wisconsin. Para. Franklin on the back row, 6 rotation talent. Able to keep this point alive with that dig. Para again. And a touch off of the Horned Frogs. The point for Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
As Jason Williams chats with his top player entering Big 12 this year. And Para was incredible last year despite playing through an injury all season long. Sky's the limit for her this year. Furbringer able to set Orgel. And a lot of folks staring at each other. Typically does not bode well. As the Horned Frogs again within 7, but Wisconsin's magic numbers at 6 here in Raleigh scoring. And Gibson with the service error into the net. So the junior out of San Antonio will inch the Badgers a little closer to a set 1 win.
Part of TCU's game plan, certainly with an offense like Wisconsin going up against that, you want to serve tough. You want to make it where they can't run their middles and they can't run the sets that they are most comfortable with, and so a lot of the times you do see service errors coming along with those more aggressive serves.
Wisconsin assistant Gary White called Lola Schumacher, who's serving right now, the Energizer Bunny of this team. I think there's a good chance none of these players have any idea why we talk about Energizer Bunnies.
So true. Sarah Franklin with the big swing from the back row. The call was out, but Wisconsin seems insistent that it might have hit a defender on the way out of bounds. Not sure if we have access to a replay of that or not, but it was certainly close.
It is being challenged by Kelly Sheffield. The question of a touch, as they're just now bringing out those laminated green cards. The coaches do have 2 challenges available to them. As long as you're successful, you keep those challenges. And if we go to a 5th set, then you will get an additional challenge as well.
We talk about kind of the evolution of rules in volleyball. There was a time where you didn't get that challenge back. You just went for it, and frustrating to think, oh, wow, I was correct and I had to use that. But taking another look now from that angle, Sarah Franklin, beautiful swing from the back row. She does it perfectly, lands in front of the line, gets it past the block.
I think they want to know if there's a pinky there on that ball. That first angle is not going to help. Maybe this one does. Seeing if there's any kind of bend on it. And I don't know if you're going to see anything that's going to get a touch on that call, but we'll lay out and let our officials handle this. Again, Chad Klunk, the second referee, is at the monitor. Patty Rolfe is up in the stand, our first referee for this one. The decision is in. No touch, call stands.
Yeah, well, we couldn't see anything specifically. It didn't seem like enough to overturn, so I can certainly see how the reffing crew came to that
Whatever
conclusion.
the original call was, likely would have stood there. And Kelly Sheffield, 12th year at Wisconsin, 24th year overall as a head coach. 5 times has led Wisconsin to the semifinals. Service error from Para will give Wisconsin its 21st point here in set 1.
Now serving number 22.
Back to Orgel, who's also working through an ankle issue. Not showing any signs of it. She's been limited to the back row early on. And a quick delivery to Alexis Roberson, who sends it over. Battle at the net, and despite their best efforts, another violation. And it's 22 on the board. Wisconsin.
Sarah Franklin, quick to see that and quick to almost back up, which you like to see the wisdom of your National Player of the Year there of, okay, this is going to be a call in the net, and I don't want to risk any type of injury.
Orgel with a drive, finding Gibson on that back row. Just enough room to track that one down by Orgel. And a laser down the line to the swing of Kelly, who will get the kill. Again, Becca Kelly, redshirt freshman out of Oregon. When she was at Oregon, they were a Pac-12 school. These days, it's a Badger rivalry in the Big Ten. Big 12 and Big Ten both certainly affected by realignment. 4 Pac-12 schools joining each conference.
TCU.
Of course, BYU joined Big 12 last year, so it's not like things got that much easier when Texas moved east.
Right.
Serve here coming up from Bram Schreiber. Only player left from that team that Jason Williams started building with.
Wisconsin.
He's made the move from outside hitter to defensive specialist. Passed really well against Nebraska. The reward is facing another Big Ten powerhouse here. Again, Badgers are picked second in the Big Ten preseason poll because of those women up there in Lincoln. Well, if you don't get it over, it doesn't matter if it's within 3 feet of the net or 3 rows deep. We won't take the time yet to plug the beach volleyball team for TCU. That point for Wisconsin here in the opening set of the day, part of our doubleheader in the Big Ten Big 12 Challenge. And the punctuation will come from Carter Booth, who dropped it in for the 25-15 victory for the Badgers, who are eyeing their first win of the young campaign here in 2024.
Quite the finish to that set for the Badgers.
National sales event. We've got.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying because of that other card?
No.
There's no crying in baseball. Or with the Capital One Venture Card, because it lets you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. And you can use those miles on any travel purchase. And you know why? There's no crying with the Venture Card. What's in your wallet? Let's play ball!
For a limited time, Subway just dropped the price of every footlong in the app to $6.99. Wait, Subway did what? $6.99? That can't be right. Yep, says right here, $6.99 for any footlong. So that means $6.99 will get me a hot and toasty Outlaw, or a Subway Club, or a hot shot Italiano, or
literally any sub in the menu.
My bad. Don't miss out on this deal. Get any footlong for just $6.99 in the Subway app. Order now before it's too late.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. This isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. You find diamonds in the rust. To put your own stamp on stock parts, turning metal into murals, and detailing every detail. Because it's the things you make that show what you're made of. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Back in Waco, where the Farrell Center these days is the exclusive home of a couple of women's programs, including Baylor Volleyball. Right now, the Badgers looking for their first win of the year. What a non-conference start has been. They were the first match of the year, as all eyes across the nation were on the Cardinals and the Badgers. After that, number 1 Texas and number 5 Stanford, as they took a dip on the Monday release of the polls. We'll see if they dip this next week. You still have to factor in that loss to Stanford, but maybe they'll have some wins this week against 2 Big 12 foes.
Yeah, they might. That certainly would impact that ranking. Yeah, you look at, they were able to take 1 set from each of these teams, so they're showing up in moments, and I think that just speaks to Wisconsin's working through a little bit of a new rotation that maybe they're not used to, people standing next to people that haven't in past years. And so I do love that Coach Sheffield does schedule them this way, though, because I think it does prepare them for later on in the season. These are the types of teams they're going to face if they want to make another national championship run.
Well, for TCU, this is not their first top 25 opponent. They faced traditional SEC rival Oklahoma up there as TCU prevailed 3-1. First win of the year. Para, a great breakout performance. She played well against Nebraska, but they did suffer their first loss of the year against the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, Nebraska sitting at number 2, just a big matchup against TCU. And so, like you said, I think we saw Para play like the Big 12 preseason player of the year that we would expect her to play. And so Nebraska later this week had lost to SMU, and so their first loss of the season, pretty groundbreaking. They swept them, and so I think we're going to see a lot of that. There's a lot of good teams. There's a lot that can shake up in kind of that top 25 here in the next couple weeks, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the next round of the AVCA poll.
Jason Williams was really pleased with what he saw out of his Horned Frogs, even in that loss. Really felt like it should have gone 5 sets against Nebraska, but that is a good early season barometer. As again, Jason Williams, TCU will see Wisconsin today. They will see Minnesota tomorrow. Minnesota head coach, of course, these days is Keegan Cook. Keegan Cook's last match as head coach at Washington is his Huskies losing to Jason Williams in his first year at TCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament a few years ago.
Wow, the volleyball world does get very small very fast.
He would have been okay if Jason stayed in Waco.
Yeah.
Opening point will go to the Horned Frogs.
Serving number 35, Cecily Brandstarter.
And just as Cecily is introduced as the individual who will serve, we'll see Jalen Clark serve here for the second point. They love the effort she puts in training. Really solid player out of Manhattan Beach, California. As Clark will test that back row. Schumacher will send it forward. And one more to get it back over to continue the service of Clark. They'll go away for the National Player of the Year because they have an All-American at the right side as well in Booth. And the Badgers on the board here in set 2.
Badgers through that first set and even starting out this set doing a really good job of spreading out their offense. So many weapons. To your point, the floor is covered in All-Americans and players with Big Ten honors. And so really, really critical for them to get it pin to pin, run the middles, and keep everyone involved.
Again, we still haven't seen in this match for Wisconsin the most outstanding player in their 2021 championship run, Anna Smrek at 6'9", who is hard to match up with at the net for any team across the country. Texas had just enough size last year in that semifinal to get beyond the Badgers. But there's still plenty of All-Americans available to go here for Wisconsin.
Beautiful cross-court slide, just the connection, the chemistry on the Badger side of the net has been impeccable this afternoon.
Yeah, and that was Robinson, who had 15 kills against the Horned Frogs last year. And they met about this time. From the back row, big swing, but a tad too strong off the mark from Gibson. So serve for Sarah Franklin, pride of Lake Worth, Florida, in her 5th and final year, in theory.
In theory.
Kelly denied by the double block. We'll see if they go to her again. They do this time, an adjustment to find Franklin on the back row. Back over to the right side, right place, right time. Bramschreiber, the libero, able to get underneath it, and Horned Frogs will get it down for their 3rd point.
Take another look, finds Para in the back row, and again we just see how smart Melanie Para is seeing the court and able to tip from the back row.
There was a triple block, but she waited until they had all hit the apex of their jumps before dialing it down a notch. This one kept alive by Para down on a knee. Calling for it. That time was Booth. And some open real estate. Horned Frogs find it. After dropping the first set, 25-15, they'll take the edge here.
Another starts with an incredible dig from Bramschreiber, and then Para again on the outside with her 5th kill this afternoon.
A little moisture on the back row where that ball hit. So they'll mop it up. Again, Wisconsin last year, a 30-4 season. So they could only afford to lose one more match this year to match that in the loss column.
Yeah.
They went 17-3 in the Big Ten, finishing second behind Nebraska. Both of them were #1 seeds, deservingly coming out of the Big Ten. Again, remember, Texas was a 2 seed. They had to get past 1 seed Stanford in California to get into that national semifinal. As the serve coming up here for Carter Booth. And as I say that, they're going to get about a foot shorter with their service. This is Miley Chan, a freshman out of Portland. They call her a calming force.
What a nice thing to have said about you, a calming force. I love that.
Something good to have out of a setter, certainly. And now I meant to say from a server, but in that case, also setting.
Fair.
So Roberson will rotate off. Graham Schreiber will have the serve. Roberson, the former LSU Tiger, has proven to be an even better middle blocker than expected. And they had high expectations for the redshirt sophomore.
Yeah.
Graham Schreiber able to find Damaro on that back row wearing the libero top. And an error on the Badgers will keep TCU up.
Point TCU.
Again, it's Minnesota and Baylor after this. Minnesota and Wisconsin might as well carpool. They were both up in Milwaukee this past weekend with Stanford and Texas. Both come down here. I don't know if they've been able to sleep in their own beds very often this week. Quick turnaround. Well, back set right side. Big swing, but dug out, denying Robinson the kill. And it's the Horned Frogs. The improbable point that'll fall their way.
Take another look at that. I mean, Melanie Parra just so much force behind the ball. And what I love about this player is it doesn't matter if she's against #6 Wisconsin or, you know, #52 whatever school. She shows up and she's not scared of a block, even standing at 5'11".
Yeah, I was going to say 5'11" Melanie Parra, and yet her swing, a dagger. This is after we saw 6'7" Booth try to put one away on the previous effort for Wisconsin. The Badgers back within one here. Whereas Wisconsin, a program that's made it to 6 national semifinals. They've had 8 straight 30-win seasons, including last year. Now, what is going to be a question is whether Wisconsin will be in the top 10 for a 71st straight week. They've been there for the past 70.
Wow.
Even if they win both matches this weekend, will they stay there? They might. They've been in the top 25 167 straight weekends. Just incredible stuff. Parra. Franklin from the back row. There's a reason why she got the votes over Maddie Skinner last year, going into that postseason as your National Player of the Year.
6 kills already for Franklin, really mixing in that back row attack too.
She had 11 kills last year against TCU.
Point TCU.
So Horned Frogs will take that one to hang on to their lead. And Lily Nicholson, the sophomore from the Dallas area from McKinney North High School. Franklin.
My goodness.
Volpe somehow got underneath that. Orgel will put it away. Well, Alice Volpe, an incredible diving dig, but after the next series, it's Orgel who pulls Wisconsin even 8 points apiece in the second set. And the senior out of Poland with the serve. The kill, though, coming from Mexico.
That sharp cross-court shot that Melanie Parra just hit, very, very hard to do, especially, we keep saying, she's 5'11", and so maybe if you're 6'4", 6'5", that's an easier angle to come down from, but she executes it beautifully. 7 kills so far for Para.
If you're 5'11", you have to be a smart player on the pin. You're not going to out-jump many people on the other side. Have to know the placement and have a good vision of that court. Just like Cece Crawford there.
Crawford playing perfectly so far with 4 kills on 4 total attempts. Wisconsin mixing it up, getting it to all different kinds of hitters, but if I'm Sheffield, I'm saying keep finding Crawford.
Guchtik in, mentioned out of Turkey, actually got to be a tour guide for her teammates this summer. It was the one time every 4 years that Wisconsin got to go to Europe. We saw Baylor do the same thing as well, many of the same countries.
Wisconsin.
But Turkey was among those countries over in Europe that Wisconsin got to take in for some competition internationally this offseason.
TCU. Number 16, Jalen Clark.
Kelly again on the outside just finds a way with that huge block right there to, you know, maybe I can't go over it, maybe I can't go around it, but let's tool it and make the most of it. Goodness.
Well, if you looked at that serve from Clark, I don't know you would have guessed it was going to end in an ace.
Yeah.
Looked a little off balance, but it got the job done as she is fighting back a smile. She'll take it. TCU up by 1. And that time just a little too much oomph.
So much float on that deep float serve there that when it does come in, it kind of hits players high. It is difficult to pass, no doubt.
Here's Charlie Furbringer, California Gatorade Player of the Year, now freshman in Madison, Wisconsin. Her dad played at Stanford and on the AVP circuit. Mom played at Long Beach State. A talented setter now for Wisconsin. Para.
Point, TCU.
Able to terminate that one.
Serving number 5, Jaden Gibson.
Now there was a touch, but I don't think it counts if it's the play-by-play guy.
But we'll put it in your personal stats for
It was
you.
not the best form. Franklin.
Point, Wisconsin.
And it's a dozen apiece. Sarah Franklin.
Now serving number 13, Sarah Franklin.
If you're a setter for the Badgers, there just aren't any bad choices.
Which is awesome because then when you're sitting there, whether it's a good pass, bad pass, you have options. You have places to go with it, and you're excited about it every single time.
Becca Kelly with the kill. It'll carry him wide from Wisconsin out of play. Back set at the right pin. The battle, did it stay in? It did not. Off of Para. As Wisconsin will claim the point. They took the first set 25-15. This one a bit more of a battle. They'd already started making their run at this point in the first set.
Yeah, TCU came out of that break in between sets and has really just played a lot more consistent. They've served more toughly. They've been more efficient on their hitting percentage, and they've got more digs as well.
Para able to tool the block that time.
TCU. Serving number 35, Cicely Bradshaw.
And these two teams are benefiting from the new surface here in the Farrell Center as basketball no longer calls this venue home, so volleyball able to tailor a few things to their liking with the TerraFlex court, same surface as the national semifinals and national championship.
Yeah, certainly something Baylor fans have been excited about for a long time with the build of the Foster Pavilion with men's and women's basketball getting a new home there. Knowing that ripple effect that it would have for volleyball and acrobatics and tumbling, and just being able to give these two elite female sports programs more of a home. So excited to see what they do at the facility moving forward.
That's the 8-time national championship acrobatic and tumbling squad, so they've got some banners for volleyball to try to keep up with here.
Absolutely.
Well, nice delivery. As ultimately 15-14, that's the Badgers who are the first to the 15-point mark. That sends us to a break here on ESPN Plus. You're watching the Big Ten, Big 12 Challenge. Badgers up a set.
At Toyota's National.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quarter moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. It's your job to stock the city. Restaurants and rooftops, bars and basements. Every corner store. And when it gets tough, you stay driven. Give it all you got, going nonstop for 20 stops. Because at the end of the day, every single round is on you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Kelly Sheffield, of course, these days synonymous with his Wisconsin volleyball program in his 12th year there. Before that, great success at Dayton and Albany. Has led Wisconsin 5 times to the national semifinals, and of course that national championship in 2021. A couple of runner-up finishes as well. A couple of years that just got away.
Dana Retke, kind of one of those key players for Wisconsin as they've built their program through the year, just winning her silver medal at the Olympics this past summer.
See if Wisconsin can start to put things together here and go on a run to take the first 2 sets in Waco. Slightly longer commute for them than TCU. I suspect it was a bus ride for the Horned Frogs as opposed to a flight into Waco International.
I certainly hope so.
On the left side, the swing from Gibson. The response from Franklin into the net denied. Badgers able to keep it alive. And a nice dig on the back row by Schumacher for Wisconsin. Off-balance service, and that point will slip away. 16-16 here in set number 2.
Really impressed by TCU's resilience in this second set, and just they're adjusting quickly to what they saw Wisconsin do well in the first set and trying to put up a block. Like we said, they are so hard to block against because they have so many weapons, but TCU's doing a good job of slowing them down.
Well, TCU so well disciplined under Jason Williams, you might be surprised when you hear him say there are no team rules, but there are team values. So honor, loyalty, gratitude. As long as you're doing what falls under those 3 words, you're probably doing the right things. And he says there's still room to add more values as the program evolves. An ace from Para. Also room to add some hardware for individual honors at the end of this year. Para lives up to expectations.
Yeah.
And TCU is just picked 4th in the Big 12. Kansas is actually picked ahead of BYU. So it's not like the Cougars just step into the Big 12 last year and dominate with their rich history. They're not even the only Cougars in the conference.
I know. That's confusing.
Gooch ticket. Service error here. One of the adjustments Kelly Sheffield was hoping to see after those matches against top 5 opponents was just seeing accurate serving on their first try. Hasn't plagued them much here today. Wants to see them attacking good space against Jason Williams' Horned Frogs. Tight one at the net. They keep it alive for Franklin. Kelly initially kept it alive, but unable to get it back over. What a difference these next few points will likely make in the outcome in tonight's match. I say tonight, there's no windows here in the Farrell Center.
Who knows what time it is?
I think the sun's still up. Furbringer just wide of an ace. Instead, it's TCU up by 1. Again, TCU only secured 15 points in that first set. They are going to be a very good team this year. Just a matter of when everything clicks. A little let serve carries over. I think even when you're an All-American, you continue to play rally scoring.
Yes. Yes, we did.
Used to be a fault. I think around 99 was when they changed that.
Oh, wow. That would be different.
Franklin. On the back row, that allows the Badger block to get in order. Kelly now, kinder, gentler approach. And Robinson wanted it a little too much. Can't get it over.
Kelly coming down from that one, laughing a little bit. We kind of talked about sometimes you're good and sometimes you're lucky, and I don't know if that's exactly what she planned to do, but it certainly worked and she adjusted well.
We're seeing Evan Hendricks come on for Lily Nicholson. Hendricks, the former state champion in Arizona out of Scottsdale, now freshman with the Horned Frogs. #1 high school player coming out of the state of Arizona. Ramschreiber. They're going to give the freshman a chance here. Hendricks able to send it over. Parra went for the block, but could not deny Devin Robinson.
Tied at 20, so 1st to 5. A lot of coaches key on these last 5 points of a set, whether it's drills in practice, serving situations with the pressure of it being 20 to 20, 21 to 20. And so excited to see what each of these teams bring to the table in these next 5 points.
Any coach in the nation would love to have Devin Robinson right there. Such a physical blocker. The coaches refer to her even as just a brawler. She'll battle for every point there for you. At the net. Parra goes at Robinson, and that double block. Back to Robinson with her offense. Bramschreiber got a hand on it. That's about it. The kill from Devin Robinson.
Take another look. Just such a heavy arm swing. Devin Robinson on the right side. You can line that up as best as any defender can, and there's just not much you can do about that type of swing.
And a let serve moments later from Wisconsin. Badgers have taken the lead, and that lead is now up to 2, with 3 points perhaps separating them from a 2-set-to-none start. Timeout, Jason Williams and the Horned Frogs. Again, early non-conference matchup. TCU receiving votes, taking on a Wisconsin team that, again, at 0-3, has to be the best 0-3 team in the nation this year and probably for the past several decades.
Yeah.
They will quickly pile up the victories, Kelly Sheffield's group, as long as they stay healthy. But the 4 teams who are in Waco this year have been together for the past few years, traveling around, and this was perfect timing for Waco to host now that they do have their own personalized court specific for volleyball. It really is a postseason caliber competition with Wisconsin, TCU, Minnesota, as well as Baylor all on hand. We'll see the Gophers and the Bears later on tonight here on ESPN+. Baylor over the first few years has been 2-4. TCU's looking for their first win against any of these challenging opponents from the Big Ten. Minnesota and Wisconsin have fared quite well, boosting that RPI going into conference play.
Yeah, definitely would be noteworthy, newsworthy if TCU is able to win the second set and take this match from Wisconsin. They've shown throughout the season, throughout their offseason, that they're working towards being a program that's capable of being in these big matches and taking down these big top 5, top 10 teams. And so just having this experience early on in the season is so valuable for all 4 of these programs.
Again, you do see the senior Anna Smrek there on the bench for Kelly Sheffield, unavailable. We haven't inquired as to why we aren't seeing her, but obviously their priorities, if it is any kind of health issue, just not risking anything here. And the touch on the way out. But Wisconsin, right now, Smrek is a luxury. Now, if they want to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, she'll be a big piece of it. Again, most outstanding player, I believe, is a freshman in that national championship in 2021. It is Bramschreiber with the service coming up. I believe her sister Chanel recently announced that she'll be able to continue playing professionally. Again, a couple of leagues have popped up, making that possible for players here in the States. Para off the palm, able to drop it in.
TCU.
Melanie Para. She's going to be the face of this program if everything goes well for TCU.
Got 10 kills already, and we're not even done with set number 2.
Robinson has the Badgers 2 away for making it 2-0. She'll come off in favor of Schumacher. As Lola of Carmel, Indiana with the serve. She is the kind of player who will plow through empty chairs to get to any ball to keep the rally alive. That time a service error, and we're 23-23 here. TCU can still take this set and level it going into the brief intermission. I mean, right now you're playing for pretty big stakes. It's a matter of whose head coach gets to put a headset on and talk to us coming out of the second set.
That's all they care about, I'm sure.
If this was softball, they'd all be gathering behind that head coach with some props. And both coaches with great assistants on their staffs. Just a few years ago that Jason Williams was in a similar role here in Waco as a top assistant to Ryan McGuire. From the back row, Franklin. Not many can look to roll one off the palm from that back row. Franklin's going to be successful often, but instead it is set point for the Horned Frogs. Timeout, Wisconsin. They may see this one slip away. A rare miscue from Franklin. As TCU, if they can win their serve here, all of a sudden has pulled things level in Waco. We mentioned TCU is fresh off of playing number 2 Nebraska in Nebraska. Wisconsin just got done spending the weekend with number 1 Texas, number 5 Stanford, after number 6 Louisville in the opening weekend. As Kelly Sheffield trying to refocus everybody on this set, not ready to look ahead to set 3 just yet.
Yeah.
Again, on the right for Wisconsin, their worst start since 1990. They went on to win the Big Ten that year, though.
Sure.
After 1990, as we all remember, they went 29-8, 16-2 in the Big Ten. That was their first NCAA tournament appearance.
Wow.
So good things to come for an 0-3 Wisconsin here to start this year. And across the way, of course, Jason Williams has rewritten the expectations up there in Fort Worth. When he took over that program, all of a sudden we recognized a lot of names on that TCU roster as he knew how to dip into that portal before a lot of coaches.
He did, and Jason Williams is such a relational coach. He connects with players so quickly, earns and builds their trust quickly, and so I think that screams early recruiting in the portal because people trust him, they want to play for him, and they're excited for what he's building in Fort Worth.
Set point for TCU is now off the table. We are destined for extra points here in set number 2 after Wisconsin took the first frame 25-15. Orgel with the serve. Line drive finds Para. Will they give it back to her instead? They'll go away over to Gibson. And TCU again will serve for set point. And now for the first time, we will see Anna Smrek perhaps. Nope, she thought she was going to have her name come on for this critical point. But she's not going to make her debut in Waco here. At least not yet here in set 2. Para looking to level this match, 1 set apiece. Thought she saw a vulnerable spot. A borderline free ball, joust to the net, over to the Badgers. And a violation at the net again, has us tied at 25.
Another look tight on the net. Both teams won it, but just a last minute in the net by TCU.
Guchtik in here with the serve. After the Badgers have erased 2 set point opportunities for TCU. And the Horned Frogs get another side out. They go into Smrek, who has come on, but an error on the block. They tool it. And Smrek will come back off. She was in there to try to close the door here. But instead, it's TCU for a 3rd time serving to close this one out. Down the line to Franklin. This one is playable.
Couple chairs down with that hustle from Kelly.
And a dump to level things and keep this second set alive from Ferbringer.
So much fight on both sides of the net in the Farrell Center.
Just some incredible moments here. Wisconsin still has not been rewarded with a set point opportunity of their own. Can they rattle off a couple in a row here? You see the numbers already for Charlie. There's 24 assists leading this offense. From the back row, Para. TCU, set point in set number 2.
Number 4? Set point number 4?
It was available to them when they were sitting on 24, on 25, on 26.
Okay.
Now on 27. And a service error by Gibson.
Now this is certainly the time in the set where you start to worry about number of subs. Are you going to have your front row players in the back row? What are we working with? So both teams certainly eager to finish this soon.
Franklin with the serve. Finds Para at the net. Orgel. Nicholson. Next one from Para off the back row. Franklin on the back row as well for Wisconsin. TCU 28-27. Again, will be given a chance as it is just back and forth here in extra points.
Unbelievable second set here in the Farrell Center.
Becca Kelly, the redshirt freshman with the serve. Again, transfer from Oregon, coming back home to the Dallas area to play for TCU. The dig by Gibson. Para now on the front row. Guchtikin trying to take things over. Swing and a great diving effort by Guchtikin. And it's Para who comes through to give TCU their first set of the day. 2 sets in the books. It's 1 set apiece between the Badgers and the Horned Frogs here in Waco. We'll keep it here for a moment. Look to catch up with Horned Frogs head coach Jason Williams and his third year at the helm of TCU. And again, Wisconsin.
Which way? That way?
Looking for their first couple of wins of the year. Not going to be easy. All right, we're joined by a familiar face here in Waco, Jason Williams. And Jason, tell me, does this have a feel of a regional final, national semifinal? What's this like?
I think we're having some audio issues with Jason Williams.
May have to cut him free.
I got it. I can hear you now.
There we go. How deep into the postseason does this match feel like to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is for sure a deep tournament match here. Wisconsin's an amazing team. They're taking some big swings. Yeah, just fortunate to pull out that set.
Coach, what did you say to your team between that first and second set that brought that fire right away in set two?
We kind of have a mentality, like a dragon mentality, and I just told them I need some dragons out there. Can't tell you what I told them I was seeing.
Jason, thank you very much. Appreciate your time as always.
Hey, thanks, guys.
The Horned Dragons.
The Horned Dragons, I love it.
So Badgers took the first set 25-15, but 29-27, a classic in set two. How will this one play out? We are just getting started with today's much anticipated doubleheader in the Big Ten Big 12 Challenge.
National sales event. Swipe into end of summer.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quart moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
For a limited time, Subway just dropped the price of every footlong in the app to $6.99. Wait, Subway did what? $6.99? That can't be right. Yep, says right here, $6.99 for any footlong. So that means $6.99 will get me a hot and toasty Outlaw, or a Subway Club, or a Hot Shot Italiano, or
literally any sub on the menu.
My bad. Don't miss out on this deal. Get any footlong for just $6.99 in the Subway app. Order now before it's too late.
For summer fun, like Camry, RAV4, Highland.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying because of that other card?
No.
There's no crying in baseball. Or with the Capital One Venture card, because it lets you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. And you can use those miles on any travel purchase. And you know why? There's no crying with the Venture card. What's in your wallet? Let's play ball!
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quart moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
For a limited time, Subway just dropped the price of every footlong in the app to $6.99. Wait, Subway did what? $6.99? That can't be right. Yep, says right here, $6.99 for any footlong. So that means $6.99.
Challenge, our first matchup of the day, TCU and Wisconsin. Wisconsin took that first set 25-15. Second set went to the Horned Frogs, 29-27. Badgers kept battling back but never had set point available to them. Lincoln Rose, Katie Sager-Smith, what stood out for you for those first couple of frames?
Certainly the difference in kills and hitting percentage. I think the first set certainly told that story with Wisconsin was 35 and TCU with 23 and hitting efficiency at 360 and 268. But TCU really came in and created some problems for Wisconsin with a tougher serve. We see 4 aces for TCU. That certainly played a role in that second set victory. The block on both ends hasn't really affected much so far. TCU with 2 kills, Wisconsin with 1. There have been touches at the net, but I think that's a testament also to the smarts of a lot of these hitters. They're finding a way to get around these big blocks.
Well, it also is a reflection that we only saw Anna Smrek on the court for exactly 1 point there in a critical juncture in the second set.
Yeah.
Wisconsin last year was only outblocked twice all season long, and obviously this is a very limited sample size so far, 2 sets in. So again, our first matchup here of the day between the 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers and TCU Horned Frogs. There's the head coach conspiring, for a five-setter maybe? Between
so.
Ryan McGuire's Baylor Bears and Keegan Cook's Minnesota Gophers, who are looking a little bit more golden these days. They are coming fresh off of their Monday victory over #1 Texas. They went 5 sets with Stanford, came up just short, and then took Texas and Jared Elliott 5 and won that to give the Longhorns their first loss and their title defense, your back-to-back champions. So Minnesota, the last time they were here, though, they were coming up short in the regional final to Yassiana Presley and Ryan McGuire's Baylor Bears. There's been a lot of turnover in these rosters since then.
Yeah, certainly.
Even on the coaching staffs, as Jason Williams was on that staff. But again, enjoy getting a chance to chat with so many of these great coaches and their different philosophies, all finding their different routes to the NCAA postseason each year. We'll dive into Baylor and Minnesota later on tonight. That is scheduled for 7 o'clock Central start, 8 Eastern here on ESPN+. Depending on how this one plays out. TCU made sure that they were not entering this third set down 2 frames. Great fight by Jason Williams' bunch. They're late in the second set.
You mentioned when it was 20-20 there at the end of the second set, Lincoln, how critical those next few points were going to be in. Completely different tune going into this split sets.
It was not those next few points. It was every single point from
the
that.
next 8 points.
Melanie Parra will try to set the tone here in set number 3. And Parra now a senior for the Horned Frogs. Boy, everybody going all out for that first point. It's Sarah Sylvester, the junior, able to put it away. Out of the state of Michigan. Plucked her out of Big Ten country. Her arm has really evolved. Sylvester up there at the net, now becoming a regular target for TCU setting, but a service error will level things up here early on.
Parra just so much heat behind that float jump serve that she's it's a little bit of a hybrid, and so just hits players really, really heavy, but we have seen her bring a little too much heat on a couple of them tonight.
Serve from Furbringer. Now she'll set over to Franklin at the left pin, denied by TCU. Again, Sylvester. She'll rotate off.
Serving number 16, Jalen Clark.
And gives way to the sophomore Jalen Clark. And wanted it a little too much there at the net. Carter Booth, the All-American middle blocker. The service continues for Clark. Franklin. Not sure if TCU knew whether or not they had 2 or 1 hit left to go. They didn't risk it. Gave Wisconsin an easy ball, and in the end, an error on TCU.
TCU.
And I say that may have been a player out of rotation there for Wisconsin. So Clark's service continues. And is that a carry? They will call it a lift on Booth. That's one of the rules that still remains.
Got to keep some of them.
Again, you can use multiple liberos in a set. double hit is no longer a concern unless it's the hit that leads to the ball going over the net. You can think of that like any ball that would hit a banner or a rafter. As long as it stays on your side, you're still clear.
And that is a pretty big rule change in my opinion. You know, most of the time that is the setter, but a lot of the times you see other players having to take that second ball who are a little less clean with their hands. There's also something in volleyball, like a lot of sports, called the yips, where you can kind of get in your head, and doubles can really impact a setter's career, and now all of a sudden you're good. You don't have to worry about that. So,
just want to clarify, when I said yep, when you said yip, I was agreeing with you, not correcting you.
Yep,
TCU carrying all the momentum out of set number 2 with 6 of the first 8 points here in the third.
Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. It's your job to stock the city. Restaurants and rooftops, bars and basements. Every corner store. And when it gets tough, you stay driven. Give it all you got, going nonstop for 20 stops. Because at the end of the day, every single round is on you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
You do what I do long enough, there's no going back. Causing trouble wouldn't be a problem for you. They won't see it coming.
FX's The Old Man premieres September 12th on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Welcome to Applebee's. What can I get you?
I have the 50-cent bone.
Cover your mouth. They could steal your order.
The 50-cent boneless wings?
I'll have the same.
Perfect. They'll never see it coming.
Frogs, Bears, or Gophers. Again, coaches don't mind non-conference taking some trips down into Texas. Of course, Big 12 country, you get a lot of experience in Texas, but not so much in the Big 10. So TCU forcing that timeout from Wisconsin. A 6-2 lead, the largest advantage TCU has had in a set so far. And the Badgers chipping away. Coming out of that timeout with Carter Booth. And Booth asking, am I out? No. And then she sees there is a libero out there, so yes. Assistant coach Gary White says of Gutstikin here, who has the serve, she's got your back as a defender, one of the best out-of-system setters as well. Let's see if there's some personnel confusion here. Green light, good to go. See if the Badgers can rattle off some consecutive points. From the back row, Para denied. That time, all by her lonesome, C.C. Crawford, shutting down Main Street. Able to get some fingertips and get that one down. The kill for Becca Kelly. She'll be a menace for another few years, just a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, another look. Big Wisconsin block that Becca Kelly finds a way to power straight through the middle of the split.
A little bit more daylight between Crawford and Robinson than they probably would have liked. Is that a yep or a yip? At the net, Orjol. Oh, so close to finding that end line. In fact, Wisconsin may consider, yep, they are going to take a look at it.
If they gave the broadcasters a challenge card, I would have used it there.
Well, no, you know, Kelly Sheffield did what is often the universal signal of review, but that was his way of saying, let's keep going.
Okay.
They've already lost one challenge, so
That's true.
mind you, he's only sitting on one laminated green card.
Might not be worth it at this point.
Until a 5th set, potentially. Para. It was close. Orjol. Good recovery by Nicholson, flat-footed. Para at the opposite pin. The block from Roberson. Orjol sizing this one up, be able to play it off of a pair of Horned Frogs to get the Badgers back on the board.
A little bit out of system, but doesn't seem to be a problem for Orjol as she tools the block and puts the ball away.
They call her a good big picture player. Doesn't get too lost in the weeds. There's Carly Anderson, the grad transfer out of Big Sky Country and the Big Sky Conference, Montana. Played there for 4 years, and we'll get to keep talking about her. She gets the ace. And Anderson, out of Ontario, Canada. Great experience coming over to Madison, Wisconsin. They love that experience, a leader. And helps push the other setters on this team. The next point goes to TCU. I mean, you understand, if you take a wrong turn up in Canada, all of a sudden you're in Badger land. Or right turn, just depending on how you want to think about these things.
As long as you have a passport, I guess.
Smrek is out on the court for Wisconsin.
TCU.
As they try to battle back here early in set 3. That means we have yet another former national champion out there on the floor right now for the Badgers. Will they go to Smrek? They won't. They'll go to Orjol, and Orjol cannot take advantage of a lot of eyeballs that were on Smrek, understandably. And that's another time Wisconsin's left frustrated. Now they do convince their coach to use potentially his last challenge of these first 4 sets. They want a touch. And at this point, Wisconsin wants to head into a 4th set up 2-1, not down 2-1.
Yeah.
Wisconsin over 1 on today on challenges. Does this one fine fingers from TCU. Gosh, that's tough.
Another angle from our Baylor Vision crew. Looking like the question on that one looks more like
I don't
on
see
the right side of that pinky, but I don't know that I see any type of change in rotation.
I don't see any digits moving. That doesn't mean there wasn't a touch, but it's going to be tough to give Wisconsin the point there.
Yeah.
Now they have a couple more angles they can look at over there that we may not have on the broadcast, but let me ask you, is this an argument as to what color to paint your fingernails, one way or the other?
Maybe so.
They do prevail. They saw a touch, and that means Wisconsin still has a challenge available this set or the next. All right, can they build some momentum out of that? Instead of 11-6, it's 10-7. Orjol continues. Down the line, Para denied. It was telegraphed. Wisconsin knew what was coming. And there is your most outstanding player from that national championship in 21, Anna Smrek, at all of 6'9". One of those Canadians who took a turn into Wisconsin.
We looked at the stats halfway through, and only 1 block on the afternoon for Wisconsin. Now they're at 4, and a lot of that due to the sub-in of Smrek.
Yeah, you're going to see a spike on that chart. I'm going to mix my stats here, a spike of blocks. Now this one will go to TCU.
Point TCU.
Horned Frogs playing loose. And I think Melanie Para is explaining the angle she has to take on those balls at 5'11". going up against Smrek on the other side. It's a tight ball at the net, but it'll play in favor of Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Serving 9, CC Crawford.
One more look before the serve from Crawford. As a local call made to Sarah Sylvester on the short pass.
Serving number 23, Melanie Barr.
And she's going to become more and more of a valuable target, the middle blocker there. Serve here for, again, last year third-team All-American Melanie Parra. This year, the Big 12 preseason Player of the Year selection. That often tends to pan out pretty well for whoever is picked. The first of such in TCU's history, as Jason Williams has raised all expectations up there in Fort Worth. Last point going to Wisconsin. Remember, it was a 6-2 start for TCU, prompting some concern for Wisconsin after extra points fell the way of TCU in the second set. We are level one set apiece, but Wisconsin getting closer to pulling this one even. Can they pull within one? It'll drop off of Wisconsin now to play. Carried all the way from one pin to the other. Both teams hitting just below 300 for the match. Wisconsin is hitting triple zeros here in this set. TCU 357 for the set. And that does get a touch off of Horned Frog. Carter Booth doesn't care if they're frogs or dragons or reptile, amphibian. And Sarah Franklin. She had 60 kills coming into today already on her resume.
Wow.
But cannot get a dig there.
TCU. Serving number 5, Jalen Gibson.
Gibson. To the right side from Robinson. And there's the block for Wisconsin.
Wow.
Only had one block through the first two sets. That has changed here in set 3.
Serving number 21, Yulia Orzol.
Orzol to Parra. And Parra showing her value on that back row. The direction to go back to the well one more time on the right side, but not the right angle from Robinson that time. The Horned Frogs, who saw their lead dwindle to 1 a moment ago. Should they say down to 2 a moment ago?
Serving now 0, Alice Volpe.
15-12. We've already had a timeout, the reason why we don't go to a break here. With TCU the first to 15. Remember, Wisconsin called a timeout at 6-2. Back in business.
Point, Wisconsin.
With Devin Robinson.
11 kills already for Devin Robinson, and just every single time she brings the heat, she brings the power. And so I think Wisconsin, they have these key players. They have tons of players that can put the ball away, but to me, it doesn't completely look like they're playing in sync or in rhythm yet. And so the sky is the limit once the chemistry clicks for this team.
Into the net on the serve from Anderson. Yeah, both teams have one player in double digits already with kills. It's a match high 13 for Melanie Parra of TCU. She's hitting 323 along the way. Robinson on the bench right now hitting 375. Again, Smrek a decoy there. Orzol gets it over Smrek not a decoy there. They'll try to beat Smrek. They do get it over. Battle at the pin. It hits off of the pin. That shaking antenna gives the Horned Frogs their 17th point. And Wisconsin has Baylor tomorrow, but cannot look past TCU. Bramschreiber. Smrek. Parra gets a touch of the net, and another one on the way out. 18-13, Horned Frogs. As, again, the body language of his players reflect his attitude. Jason Williams out there, that just calm, confident energy.
Yeah. 14 kills already for Parra, and this player just is so consistent. Whether she's in the back row, she's making amazing digs, putting the ball away in the front, behind the service line. Love just getting to see how dynamic of a 6 rotation outside Parra is.
Cecily Bramschreiber continues the senior serve. Franklin wanted it, but a bit too much. Could not get it down in play. Timeout, Wisconsin. Trail by 6. We're level a set apiece here in set number 3. The Horned Frogs have a chance to maybe close it out in 4. I think if you asked Jason Williams coming into this match, if the set only went 4, how would you feel about it? And you might think there'd be a lot more room to improve, but there's a chance that they can close it out.
Yeah.
Now again, it's just hard to imagine Wisconsin could start the year 0-4, but here they are up against TCU and Baylor. Needs to be a win somewhere in there this weekend. This one's still doable for Wisconsin.
Yeah, certainly a couple things could turn for Wisconsin to turn this set around, but what we're seeing right now is just their hitting efficiency. They've been leading the charge in the hitting efficiency pretty substantially over TCU in sets 1 and 2, and now TCU's hitting 273 to Wisconsin hitting a negative 38. So we're seeing a lot more errors. We're seeing a lot. I was going to say more blocks, but I don't know that the TCU block is impacting it all that much. I think that maybe it's the way that they're serving that's affecting Wisconsin's offense, but certainly something that Sheffield wants to look cleaner at this point in the match.
Again for TCU, coming in off that 4-set loss to Nebraska, wanted to improve both serve and pass. What coach doesn't? To try to be elite and break into the top 20. Some final words for Melanie Parra from her head coach. Parra, one of the 5 returning starters this year for TCU.
We mentioned Parra playing all through last season with an injury and still performing so well. The injury does not seem to be slowing her down anymore. And just, wow, yeah, excited for what this senior campaign will continue to look like for Parra.
Well, they were ready for the dump from Furbringer. Also able to dig out the swing from the back row from Franklin. They go to Orgel. Bramschreiber's there. TCU up 6 here in a pivotal set 3. Down the line, it's in. Right down the net, it drops in here on the near side.
We saw Parra from TCU have that right side sharp cross shot to the number 2 zone, and then Crawford having success with it again in this set.
CC Crawford putting just enough English on that ball. Serve from Orgel. Parra. And that was a laser that Schumacher could not avoid down the line. That's a point for the Horned Frogs as they go up by 6 again. Serve from Nicholson. Franklin that time. I think every generation knows what the matrix is. Nicholson doing that back bend, trying to get it out of the way, could not. Right, let's see if CC Crawford can go on a run here from the service line. Gibson off the mark, And Wisconsin moments ago down by 6 now, back within 4. Down the middle from Parra, denied by the block. Wisconsin, a little misstep, able to recover as Franklin sends it over. Gibson again, into the block again from the Badgers. And this time, Booth was not going to wait her turn as she sees the ball and plants it down below. Timeout, Jason Williams. He does not want Wisconsin to get any closer. They've cut a 6-point deficit in half here in set number 3. There'll be a serve for Wisconsin coming up. Lincoln Rose, Katie Stager-Smith with you. Entertaining one. And I'm not going to call this an appetizer. We're getting 2 entrees, 2 desserts at that. As Baylor here at home this year will be hosting Wisconsin tomorrow, but tonight they get the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Minnesota, their last match, a 5-set winner over #1 Texas up in Milwaukee. Both they and Wisconsin were up there with the Longhorns and Stanford. This after Minnesota fell in 5 to Stanford. Meanwhile, Baylor is fresh off a sweep over Rice. Rice has traditionally been a very good program over there in Houston. And Rice's head coach, Jenny Volpe, her daughter Alice, these days plays for TCU. Jason Williams, the head coach over at TCU. Again, longtime friend and familiar with both of the Volpes. He himself played some and was familiar on the circuit with Alice's dad, and then Jenny played with his wife Corey. Next generation now coming through. All right, serve critical here down the stretch for Wisconsin. They've trimmed 3 off the deficit. Nicholson finds Parra. Franklin. Parra at the left pin. Free ball for TCU. Cannot capitalize that time. Go right into the block from Sylvester. From the right pin. Finally, the punctuation from Jalen Gibson. And they look forward to a lot more of those from the San Antonio native in her final 2 years.
Serving number 23, Melanie Martin.
They are really hoping Jalen can take that next step this year. Continue to elevate her game.
Wisconsin.
If we still had the basketball court down, that would still probably be out.
I think so. Long heat on that ball, a little too much.
Nikki Collins may still have use, someone who can inbound that far away. One more to get it over. Balls to Franklin. Bramschreiber with the dig. Back row, Parra into the block. And that time the answer, Franklin part of the defensive effort up front with Booth. They denied Jalen Gibson.
Another look. Great attempt at coverage, but it was just a little too much from Franklin and Booth for the Badgers.
And Franklin, last year's National Player of the Year. Teamed up with Booth down in the Dominican Republic with USA Volleyball. Franklin back on the offensive effort here. That's in. No, they say it's out.
Wow.
TCU.
My mistake for not just waiting for the flag. That was, again,
I'm with you.
That was PDC, pretty darn close. Been a couple of those. Clark with the serve. They won't challenge it. They only have one challenge left unless this goes 5. That one's in. And that similarly was close. We'll get another look on replay.
Serving number 13, Sarah Franklin.
Yep.
Beautiful slide and about as well placed as you can put it on that cross-court shot.
That one had some room to spare. Para thought she had conceded an ace there. Good recovery by Gibson. On the right side, looking to tool that block. Badgers will take the point, and they are within 1. Can they flip the script here late in set number 3 after set number 2 got away from them? Serve from Franklin. They'll go to Roberson. Wow.
TCU.
The Horned Frogs back to a little margin for error. Not much. Serve from Gibson. A little off balance. Still Robinson at 6'2", had the wingspan to go back and get that ball. Down the line, it's in. Our line judge was poised right down that line to get the angle on it. It is set point for a second straight set for TCU.
Great shot down the line.
Zero chill from Jalen Gibson, who speeds things up here. And TCU will take set number 3. Horned Frogs were not going to let Wisconsin get settled, and all of a sudden, it's TCU looking to claim it in 4. When you rejoin us, it's our first of 4 matches this weekend as part of the Big 10, Big 12 Challenge.
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of the.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quarter moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
Style in sports, it's a 1-2 punch. Originality, that's style.
Today we're going to be helping style some high schoolers.
We're about to get some style in there with some student athletes. We're going to take these kids to the next level.
This is fire.
You know, man, something different.
So the swag.
Get it.
Under Armour we here, man.
Style is all about a representation of yourself.
If you look good, you feel good, you play good, it goes all in one.
What's the order?
50-cent boneless wings.
50-cent boneless wings on 2. Ready? Break.
Hey, bro.
50-cent boneless wings only at Applebee's.
Mara, preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, 15 kills already through the first 3 sets against Wisconsin's block.
Such a difficult player to scout against because she is a weapon regardless of where she is on the court. We see her hit on the outside, mix in backer attacks. She'll tip, she'll throw in that roll shot. So many weapons in this player's arsenal.
After falling 25-15 in the first set, TCU outlasts Wisconsin in that second set 29-27, 25-21 closing out that third set on a 3-0 run. Put the Badgers in a difficult position here. I still think it's a mature enough Wisconsin team that they're not doubting themselves even though they're 0-3 to start the year. They understand what they're capable of, but I think TCU, there's a chance that they're catching the Badgers by surprise here.
Yeah, absolutely. Wisconsin certainly not the momentum starter that they want and hope for at the beginning of the season with those 3 losses, but definitely something where they need to lock in, go back to playing Wisconsin Badger volleyball and compete here, as this is a must-win set for the Badgers.
Again, Wisconsin has 4 All-Americans to rely upon here. The only program to finish in the top 5 each of the last 5 years. And that's even true when you think of college football, college men's and women's basketball. One of the ultimate constants is seeing the Badgers making a deep run in the postseason. Smrek will start his 4th set at the net. And again, there's not many people in the country who could literally fill those shoes or really in any aspect fill the void that would be left without her out there.
Yeah.
We'll see if she can help turn things around.
Our stats showed 1 block for Wisconsin through the first 2 sets, and now they're up to 10 after that 3rd set. Smrek subbing in the game.
Furbringer, the freshman. Mentioned 2nd-generation volleyball player. See who can strike first. Franklin gets it back over. See if they go back here to the left side. They do to Kelly. That one just drops in. So, again, if you hear me call enough volleyball, you can mark this off on your bingo card. This is a must-win set for both teams. Literally for Wisconsin, but if you're TCU, you have no interest in a 5th set. Because then Wisconsin's carrying that momentum in a sprint to 15.
Exactly, especially with 4 All-Americans, a lot of experienced players that know what to do with 5th set volleyball.
Franklin had to come back down, still was able to adjust and find the back corner. She's pretty good. Franklin 10 kills, joins Robinson in double digits now. Franklin also with 5 digs as a 6th rotation player, but it's not going to win her serve. That's Jalen Gibson.
Serving number 5, Jalen Gibson.
Wow, so much heat down the line by the Horned Frogs.
They go to Smrek. It's just her 2nd attack effort here, and a little subtle touch doesn't carry over by Becky Kelly. Maybe it helps to get a ball over Smrek if you aren't looking at her.
Maybe. Less intimidating.
If I don't
for
see
sure.
you, you're not there. I'll turn my back. Do a little no-look attack. Didn't work that time. How about a dump? Smrek able to find the angle. Gets it past Para, who's all by her lonesome back there. And there's a kill from the All-American Anna Smrek.
TCU.
They're trying to get a clarification from a new referee, and they're just asking for a towel. Mop up a spot. How often does the team who's leading a set ask for a towel historically, as opposed to a team that might want to just slow things down for a moment?
Yeah, I definitely remember from my playing days there was some strategy of when you wiped, how quickly you wiped. And sometimes after a long play, you're just trying to breathe, and you're like, maybe there is sweat somewhere. Please give me the towel.
TCU has won the last 2 sets, and again, that 2nd one could have gone either way. Para, you hear her hand punishing that ball, but it's the Badgers who will inch ahead 4-3.
Para's been really effective this evening on those sharp cross-court shots, and Wisconsin did a great job of lining that up defensively with that front row opposite hitter.
5'5" Gutchkin comes on for 6'9" Smrek to serve on the back row. A little left-handed service finds Bramschreiber. The dig there from Schumacher. And a nice job by CeCe Crawford slowing the game down. Dials it down a notch and drops it home. So serve continues for the pride of Turkey. Down the line to Para. Was it in or out? They got a touch. They give her a touch at least. Ball landed long. That was a whip, that right arm of Para, sending it down the line. It's been a while since she's been in on mop-up duty. So TCU pulls back within one. Graham Shriver. That one does carry long.
Point, Wisconsin.
I know folks in Madison and in Fort Worth tuning in, probably a little bit more stressed than you and I are. We're already winners with everybody here getting to watch this kind of competition early on. But these fan bases want to win to show for it, and a little boost in RPI as well when selections come around at the end of November. On the back row. What an effort flying in by Schumacher. But it's not going to land in. Lola Schumacher.
I mean, such a full body extension there to even make contact with that ball. You love the effort from Schumacher there.
How did that ball continue to carry that far? Slap down by Crawford, but dig for TCU. Para off some fingertips. Little back set, back to Crawford. Again, they'll block Para up front. Crawford part of that block. She'll go up and over the block and had to adjust her swing, but they're going to get a violation here on Wisconsin. Otherwise, that ball was out. There's a blocking error in the net, they say, by Crawford. And a service error will give that point back. So a short-lived tie at 6-6. Now 7-6 Badgers. Wisconsin took the first set, 25-15. The next two would go the way of TCU, including an extra points in the second frame. Schumacher. Para wants fingertips, she'll get them.
Another look there, Para over the block, shooting for that deep cross-court shot, but just a little bit deep to get in an effort to get over Wisconsin's large block.
I think they got the right hand of Robinson there. Here is Robinson, your setter all of a sudden. Big right arm from Becca Kelly. Franklin returns it, and Bram Schreiber can't keep it alive. The kill from Franklin. She's got a dozen.
Franklin just sprays it so far to each sideline. It's so impressive whether she's front row, back row. She is always utilizing the entire width of the court.
Hopefully that went off the pin. Point for Wisconsin. Off the antenna, so Furbringer continues her serve. Into the net. 9-8, TCU back within one. I mean, you and I, frankly, are expecting to see 10 sets today.
Yeah. Get everyone's money's worth here tonight.
Nobody's making early dinner plans in Waco. And both these teams will play 2 matches this weekend. TCU will play Minnesota tomorrow to start the day. Smrek. Horned Frogs go right at the big block, but cannot prevail. Just what a difference that makes up front. Franklin down the line, trying to finesse that one. Para keeps it alive. Into the block again from Wisconsin. BLOCK. We did not talk about it much in the first couple of sets. But it's been contagious once Smrek has come out there, and that's bolstered the likes of Robinson and company. Free ball. Point Wisconsin. Up by 4 in a must-win set number 4. Timeout, TCU. Anna Smrek making her presence felt, and it has elevated her teammates as well. They've upped their defensive effort, and the offense now on a 3-0 run, up 12-8.
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles.
Of successful head coaches leading their teams to Waco this weekend, not backing down from a challenge. Kelly Sheffield's Badgers trailed 2-1 in a must-win set number 4. Right now up 12-8 on a 3-0 run. Smrek.
Wow.
And that just out of self-defense by Lily Nicholson. The Badgers on a 4-0 run now. Franklin. That one long. Everything going the way of Wisconsin here in this critical 4th set. Trying to move on to a 5th. And let's see if Jason Williams wants to challenge a touch. That is the case. Franklin was insisting there was no touch. She didn't need a protest because that was the initial ruling. Also gives basically Jason Williams an additional little timeout here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really starting to see Wisconsin play with the synergy and chemistry that we're used to from that program. And so Jason Williams is likely doing whatever he can to say, whoa, 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 let's not let them get confident.
Both teams with 2 players in double-digit kills. Melanie Parra has a double-double, 18 and 14. Let's take another look. The ruling is no touch, an error. If you're in Fort Worth, you're saying there's absolutely a touch there. If you're in Madison, you're saying no way.
I don't know if my vision's getting worse with age or if these are getting harder to tell.
This is why we got rid of the double hit.
Because it was just too much. It was too much to try to decide.
TCU wins the challenge. There was a touch.
A great use of a challenge by Jason Williams, especially at this point in the set.
I mean, again, it just makes us every year appreciate these referees more and more, what they see live. That time, obviously, did not get the call necessarily. They just want to get it right.
Yeah.
But what they often see live, Smrek. Oh, what did Bram Schreiber do to her? Anna Smrek. So much
Another look at that, just if you like watching people get hit with volleyball.
So much for that stereotype for nice Canadians. Another block from Wisconsin. They'll go just wide of Smrek. And TCU back on the scoreboard, back within 4. Something tells me now that you can use multiple liberos, they're still not going to try Smrek. as a defensive specialist in the back. It's so valuable when she has come into this match up front.
Yeah.
Becca Kelly, and former Oregon Duck, redshirted last year in Eugene. Smrek wants it, and even if you don't give it to her in a perfect set, she can still usually find it. We'll go away from her this time, and it's Crawford who will intercept that ball to the left pin and tries to put it away, but an error. He was trying to outsmart TCU there. Jason Williams wants a point on this court addressed. Our second official says that's a union job. So Jalen Gibson answers the call. See if the Horned Frogs can go on a run here. Down by 3, up 2-1. To Smrek at the right side. She only saw 2 Horned Frogs in the area, so she goes at both of them with the kill.
I mean, what an impact Smrek has had on this set. She just elevates, goes above, and doesn't touch anyone on her way down.
She beat 4 Horned Frogs on that ball. To their credit, they all had their eyes open the whole time.
I'm not sure mine would have been.
Para. Again, she's already got a double-double. Melanie, 18 kills, 14 digs. Tight at the net. Furbringer trying to catch TCU off guard. Battle at the net goes to the Badgers.
Point, Wisconsin.
So 16-11 Wisconsin, trailing 2-1. Both these teams have already been battle tested. They probably spent more time in the court than in the classroom here early on in this fall semester. That's one thing that we'll talk about with Baylor last year. Boy, I don't know if they ever had a chance to unpack their suitcases in non-conference play this year. Ryan McGuire's Bears being able to at least get a little more settled academically with more home matches. Kelly Sheffield was close to home in Milwaukee with Wisconsin last weekend. Badgers looking for that first win of the year. TCU barely is their first non-ranked opponent of the year. Into the net. Horned Frogs will take it back within 4.
Serving number 35, Cecily Redshire.
Another look at the effort into the triple block. There were 3 leaping frogs at that right pin.
Wisconsin's non-conference certainly started off so challenging. It maybe gets a little easier as the non-conference goes on, but they still have top opponents, whether it's number 24 Marquette, so in the top 25, or teams like Texas A&M, and Milwaukee is playing well right now, and so not really just gimme matches coming up for the Badgers.
That one will carry long. Boy, Cece Crawford was huge in that rally just now from Wisconsin, all over pin to pin. In the end, Franklin put TCU on their heels, and the response from the Horned Frogs, the error. And back to Orgel, a libero last year. TCU does not want this being easy glide across the finish line to force a 5th set for Wisconsin out of the Big Ten. Para. Down the line to Franklin. That's in. Easiest call of the night for the line judge right there. As Franklin, one of 3 Badgers in double digits in kills. And she's got 14 tied for the team high. With Devin Robinson, Cece Crawford with 10. And for TCU, 11 kills for Becca Kelly. The double-double, 18-15 with kills and digs for Melanie Parra. Wisconsin up 7 here in set number 4.
Starting to reflect a little more of the score of set 1. We talked about how this really momentum-wise, TCU wants to win this set or at least be tight in this set going into a 5th. They don't want Wisconsin playing with their 4 All-Americans with confidence, and so Jason Williams definitely giving his team a pep talk right now, trying to bridge this gap a little bit here in the 4th.
Parra hitting 264 in these first 4 sets. And that double-double. She'll have another trip to Waco as they'll play a home-and-home with the Bears as part of Big 12 play this year. One of their shorter trips. Of course, SMU, an easy rival there in the Metroplex area. I'm not going to pretend Fort Worth and Dallas are next to each other, but if traffic behaves, it's a reasonable commute. And of course, Dallas, Texas these days is on the Atlantic coast, along with Stanford. All these conferences got harder.
Yeah, they really did.
Good luck to the selection committee. All right, serve pending here from Orgel. It's a 3-0 run for Wisconsin right now, up by 7 in a must-win set number 4. Horned Frogs salvage that opportunity at the net. Parra drops it down and just not clean from Wisconsin. As serve back over to TCU, back within 6. The serve will belong to Nicholson, the sophomore. Franklin. Wisconsin the first to 20 now. Getting closer to that 5th set here in Waco. Her 15th kill of the day. Schumacher, freshman libero. As the opposing libero knew exactly where she was on that floor and watched it sail out.
TCU. Serving number 23, Melanie Parra.
Volpe will come off. Becca Kelly up at the net. Serve coming up from Parra, who does not leave the floor. For good reason.
Good tough float serve by Parra.
Off-bound swing, Robinson able to get plenty on it. Now Robinson trying to be part of the block at the net. 21-14 Wisconsin. Devin Robinson, the All-American.
Serving number 24, Charlie Herbringer.
So serve now from Herbringer, the setter. Tough ball there that finds Schumacher, then carries out. And it was an easy first set for Wisconsin, 25-15. It was anybody's set in set 2, but it went to TCU 29-27. Will that be the difference today? 25-21 TCU in set 3. Right now, Wisconsin 21-15, trying to force a 5th. They go to Smrek. And again, she does not have to time her jump perfectly. Gets on top of that one.
Serving number 13, Sarah Franklin.
Nice confident swing from Becca Kelly, able to put it away. Again, a couple of her former Oregon teammates will be in action later on tonight here in Waco.
Another look, just great vision of that block and hit down the line by Becca Kelly. TCU really utilizing their pins on the outside with Melanie Parra and Becca Kelly deceiving.
At times, Smrek intervening when Becca Kelly wanted to double dip.
Serving number 10.
These blocking numbers have escalated quickly for the Badgers. And there's one reason why. A free ball. And the Badgers put it away. Set point for Wisconsin, 24-16. They've got a little room for error here as we appear destined for a fifth set in Waco. Here in the Big Ten, Big 12 Challenge. Robinson the serve. Kelly trying to keep this set alive. Orjol. We are headed to a decisive fifth set between Wisconsin and TCU. It's set 4 going to the Badgers down to the Big Ten in convincing fashion. Who will claim a valuable win and a boost to their RPI here early in non-conference play?
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. And get access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quart of moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. This isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. You find diamonds in the rust. You put your own stamp on stock parts, turning metal into murals, and detailing every detail. Because it's the things you make that show what you're made of. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
What's the order? 50-cent boneless wings? 50-cent boneless wings on 2. Ready, break.
Hey, bro.
50-cent boneless wings only at Applebee's.
And fourth set go to Wisconsin in convincing fashion, but sandwiched in between a couple of sets that go to TCU. We head on to a fifth. These are our numbers here so far. They don't tell the full story, but it's certainly the increase in blocks have corresponded with Smrek being a part of the last 2 frames.
Yeah, definitely see that. 8 blocks by Wisconsin to TCU's only 4. We've seen that. Like you said, Lincoln, Smrek subs in, and all of a sudden Wisconsin's block is an intricate part of their defense. And then Aces has been really even across the board. Hitting efficiency, Wisconsin at 265 to TCU's 196. We saw, and that's through 4 sets, right? And that was with that 3rd set where Wisconsin was hitting negative a good portion of those points. And so I think as we're now in this 5th set, it's fresh, right? 0-0, we're playing to 15, and so the block is going to be critical, and seeing how TCU responds now that Wisconsin's a little more in rhythm is going to be huge.
Well, this is not the last set of the day. It is for these 2 teams. We get to sit back and enjoy another top 25 matchup. It's going to be Minnesota, who still, as of Monday, were ranked 18th. That does not reflect their win over #1 Texas on Monday after the poll had already come out. Baylor, that doesn't reflect an additional win over Rice. Both those teams otherwise likely would be even higher in the polls, no doubt by the end of the year. We'll see them dancing again.
Certainly the outcomes of the matches here this weekend will affect that AVCA poll this week, no doubt.
And many of the fans for the Gophers traveling. It was a shorter trek last weekend to Milwaukee. Not too bad of a trip for Jason Williams and bunch. You think he drives by his old home when he comes to Waco?
Maybe, I hope so. I mean, they were here for a good number of years. They had kids in schools in Waco, and so Waco was certainly home for a good chunk of time for the Williams family.
Callie wrapped up her high school career here and played for Baylor before spending her final year with Dad at TCU at his new employer. All right, does TCU start the year 2-1 with wins over Oklahoma and Wisconsin, or do the Badgers find that elusive first win? It's almost a shame there's not a ranking next to TCU with the caliber they are here for Wisconsin to start their first 4 matches. They're guaranteed to play a ranked team tomorrow in Baylor. And an ace. And again, when we talk about this 5th set, all these points are almost with double.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Furbringer gets Wisconsin started off on the right foot. The freshman was not a part of that national semifinal run last year. Certainly not a part of the national title team in 2021. She wants her own experience competing for titles. Out of the left side, Robinson with her friend Smrek are there.
Strong start for Wisconsin in this 5th set, one where TCU does not want Wisconsin to get any more momentum.
That is 2 All-Americans with the great presence there at the net. And then they have somebody named Franklin right behind them. That's a free ball. Smrek, though, I thought perhaps she was a little too ambitious on the ball, but no. They'll get it. It was the back row attack from TCU. First 3 points for Wisconsin. A dream start here in this 5th set. After they were down 2 sets to 1. Another free ball for the Badgers. Can they go up 4-0? Yes.
Wow. Wisconsin finding their rhythm at the right time in set 5.
Timeout, TCU. It is a sprint to 15. Horned Frogs will want to talk it over. Badgers will want more of the same here in Waco.
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quarter moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
This fantasy football season, avoid the auto draft. When you're on the clock with Cup Noodle Stir Fry. Don't be Dan from Denver. His hours-long smoking process costs him his chance at glory. Cup Noodle Stir Fry. Quick, convenient, mess-free, and always delicious. Every pick is a winner.
For a limited time, Subway just dropped the price of every footlong in the app to $6.99. Wait, Subway did what? $6.99? That can't be right. Yep, says right here, $6.99 for any footlong. So that means $6.99 will get me a hot and toasty Outlaw, or a Subway Club, or a Hot Shot Italiano, or a...
Literally, any sub on the menu.
My bad. Don't miss out on this deal. Get any footlong for just $6.99 in the Subway app. Order now, before it's too late.
Set number 5 in Waco at the Big Ten Big 12 Challenge. TCU won set 2 and 3, but saw a chance to close things out, slip away in set 4, and all of a sudden the first 4 points have gone to Wisconsin, prompting the timeout by the Horned Frogs. Both coaches do have challenges available to them and have gotten an additional challenge here in this 5th set. That ball, they say, is in.
TCU.
First point for TCU coming out of that timeout.
30-0.
Another look at that big cross-court swing to give TCU their first point of the 5th.
And again, TCU is running into what so many teams in the postseason run into against Wisconsin. As we did not see Smrek really in the first 2 sets, just saw her for 1 point, but since she's been inserted, it's been a different look up front, and there are just not many teams that can match up the things that she does. I'm mindful they lose this point. They force some teams to think about who their setter is and how tall their setter is.
Yeah.
They're still debating that down in Austin with Avery Carlson, the former Baylor Bear, who's gone down there. Only thing working against Avery is her height. And Robinson able to get up and put that one down quickly. But again, 4 All-Americans returning for Wisconsin. It is a lot to deal with on any given night.
Smrek with 5 kills so far, so certainly making an impact, hitting .444. But with her, it's kind of the threat of the threats of what she could do that is so intimidating to another team's offense.
And I would suggest only one of those kills came from a ball that was really put where she wanted it.
Right.
That was well timed. She can help be a magic eraser for you. Just give it to her somewhere in the zip code. Clark with the serve for TCU. Franklin off the back row, so valuable. Gets the touch up in the net. Again, I think when we talk about a National Player of the Year, that sums it up. The reason why we don't say Franklin's name even more often. But focus on what a luxury it is to have her among several incredible pieces up there in Madison, Wisconsin. This one back over to the Horned Frogs. There's a 4-0 start for Wisconsin. TCU's taken 4 of the last 6 points now, coming out of that timeout from Jason Williams. Quick delivery over to Crawford, who gets it over. Para, can she make an impact here in this 5th set? Smrek again. That was one of the better balls dialed up for the Canadian.
Wow, beautiful shot. Right there in between that 5-6 zone.
Goodstick in now to serve. An ace as we will switch benches here in set number 5.
Deep float serve. TCU thought it was out the back line, but it was in by a couple of inches. Love what I'm noticing now. Wisconsin does some sort of number of push-ups. I think it's however many aces they have, which could really get taxing, especially in a 5-set match.
Imagine you do the push-ups and then you're told, I need you to come in and serve. And you're like, well, my arm might need a rest for a moment.
Coach, I can't.
Well, Wisconsin is back to that 4-point cushion they had. I think they like 8-4 even more than they liked 4-0. Yeah. From Istanbul, Goodstick. Para just sends it back over. And tough to recover, tight at the net. And the NCC Crawford will get the credit for putting that one away. Her 12th kill. Franklin 16, Robinson 15, the 3 of them leading the way offensively. Robinson and Crawford hitting better than 400 in this match. Melanie Para 20 and 16 kills and digs. First to 15. At the moment, Wisconsin with the inside track after trailing through the first 3 sets, 2-1.
TCU huddling up, really trying to find that gas pedal. Melanie Para doing just about everything she can for TCU right now, but certainly the Horned Frogs do not want to let Wisconsin cross that 10-point threshold.
And pretty loose. Wisconsin right now up 5, needing 6 more points potentially to head into tomorrow, looking to put together a win streak. And the Big Ten teams will not face each other. The Big 12 teams will not face each other. That will be addressed later this fall in conference play. So Wisconsin will see the 23rd ranked Baylor Bears tomorrow. TCU will face the 18th ranked Minnesota Gophers. We've got Baylor and Minnesota coming up next, and that's probably not going to be a 7 o'clock start anymore. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely want to give both teams enough time to warm up, but sometimes you see that shortened from the normal 50 to 60 minutes to 30 minutes in these types of settings.
Really just depends on what catering has for us. Again, big thanks to our producer Kyle Brodt and Hannah Steed, our director. Busy week prepping for 4 great teams that no doubt are headed for another postseason. And our entire crew here in Waco. Coming out of the final timeout, there are none left for TCU, and TCU, oh, just a mental mistake.
Point, Wisconsin.
Give away a freebie just by how they line up.
Yeah, an out of rotation call on the Horned Frogs.
10-4 Wisconsin. Para. Para able to beat the block and get it down.
TCU.
More of that is what TCU will need.
Serving number 23, Natalie Morrow.
Your Big 12 Player of the Week. From the back row, Franklin. And Bramschreiber just couldn't get out of the gate there. I think her left foot was stuck in some cement.
Smart shot by Franklin. We're seeing Wisconsin, they're playing loose, they're playing together, they're having fun. And so I think when they're in that space, that's when we see them play at their very best.
That left side, it'll carry him wide. The kill from Becca Kelly. A high school All-American in All-State here in Texas, out of Rockwall High School. Or dipping her toes in the Pacific Coast over there at Oregon for a year, coming back home. See if Bramschreiber can go on a run here. Wisconsin just needs 4 more points to call it a day. Wisconsin just needs 3 more points to call it a day.
And who other than Sarah Franklin to put that ball away?
And that will allow Devin Robinson to rotate back in. She was busy shooting jumpers on the bench. Knocking them down, no doubt. Schumacher, the freshman, on the big stage. Schumacher gets underneath it, can't keep it alive. TCU is willing to stick around a bit if they can go on a run, but still down by 5. They can't just trade points. They need to win their serve. And again, you've got so many All-Americans to choose from. It's back to Devin Robinson.
Serving number 24, Charlie Herbert.
16 kills. Second best on the team behind Franklin's 18 today. Badgers could be 2 points away from their first win of 2024. False start there from Furbringer. Now gets the green light. Quality serve to Para. Nearly an ace, but TCU recovers. And that ball is out.
Point TCU.
Just off the mark from Devin Robinson.
Serving number 11, Becca.
So match point will have to wait. But a service error would set it up here. Becca Kelly has to stay clean on this. They go away from Smrek, the ultimate decoy. But another error from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin just 2 points away, but TCU continues to chip away at that gap and stay in this 5th set.
Kelly Sheffield calls a timeout. His Badgers, the convincing win in set 4 to push us to a 5th set. A quick start for Wisconsin. Still hanging on to a 4-point cushion here late. Need 2 more to head into tomorrow with their first win. TCU, again, has Minnesota waiting for them tomorrow. Both these teams can stick around and take in tonight's action to scout out their next opponent. Again, all these coaches, such a privilege to chat with, pick their minds. And with volleyball getting more and more deserved attention. That means they are on more and more broadcast production calls than ever.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin had a national audience last weekend for both their matches. TCU is going to be getting more and more of the spotlight as long as Melanie Parra and company continue to live up to their expectations this year in year 3 for Jason Williams in Fort Worth. Again, Wisconsin called this timeout as TCU was starting to trim away at the deficit, but it is still a 4-point lead for Wisconsin. First to 15 wins, must win by 2. And the serve for Becca Kelly. It's long. It is match point for 6th-ranked Wisconsin.
Match point.
Sarah Franklin looking to put the punctuation on this here in day 1 in Waco. Not just yet. Jalen Gibson. With rally scoring, it is still match point, and it will be for a while. Wisconsin with a cushion.
Number 2,
Evan Hendricks comes on, the freshman again. It's a tough serve receive from Wisconsin. They're going to be able to overcome it. Orgel. Volpe will set it to the right side. That ball carries wide. TCU still in business. It is still match point, though, for Wisconsin. The serve continues with the freshman Hendricks. I want to point out, Jason Williams, her head coach, used the phrase a Yossi type, referencing Yassiana Presley, former National Player of the Year. She is a dynamic outside hitter. But Wisconsin, with their biggest win of 2024 so far, their first win of the young campaign, able to take this one in 5 against the Horned Frogs.
A well-balanced offense for the Badgers with Sarah Franklin with 18 kills and Devin Robinson with 16.
Kelly Sheffield and the Badgers can enjoy the win in a little less than 24 hours, though. They'll be squaring off against the host Baylor Bears. Bears are in action coming up next. TCU will face Minnesota tomorrow, but we've got Baylor and Minnesota, that match coming up next. We're bracing for another full 5 sets here on ESPN+. For Katie Stager-Smith and our entire crew, I'm Lincoln Rose. We'll step aside. Badgers win this classic in 5.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. And get access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Times may change, but some things remain timeless.
I've been using the Dove Beauty Bar more than 25 years.
Dove is 1 quarter moisturizing cream.
I feel silky smooth.
For a limited time, Subway just dropped the price of every footlong in the app to $6.99. Wait, Subway did what? $6.99? That can't be right. Yep, says right here, $6.99 for any footlong. So that means $6.99 will get me a hot and toasty Outlaw, or a Subway Club, or a Hot Shot Italiano, or
literally any sub on the menu.
My bad. Don't miss out on this deal. Get any footlong for just $6.99 in the Subway app. Order now before it's too late.
This fantasy football season, avoid the auto draft. When you're on the clock with cup noodle stir fry. Don't be Dan from Denver. His hours-long smoking process costs him his chance at glory. Or Nancy from Nashville. That no-contact convenience costs her a chance at me. And messy ketchup hands cost Brian from Boston everything. Cup noodle stir fry. Quick, convenient, mess-free, and always delicious. Every pick is a winner.